that, though, I think is actually a great way of introducing the show. And my first guest, welcome to the Spiritual Gentleman podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about spirituality, things that affect men, particularly men with ADHD, and how we can live better lives and to try to improve our lives. Today, I am joined with Andrew, who is the creator of the Beyond Transcendent podcast. Andrew has been exploring this stuff since about 2002, from what he's kind of reading on. Had a quick little chat with him at the beginning here. Seems like a really fascinating guy, and I'm grateful to get to know you and have a conversation. So welcome, Andrew.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome, man. So tell me, where are you calling in from, and a little bit about your story of what brought you into spirituality and kind of what brought you to this point in life.
Oh, well, I'm calling from Edmonton, Alberta, where we're experiencing winter. So we're into the cold temperatures. And my spiritual journey began when I lost my mother. Yeah, she was the tipping point to bring me to a realization that there is more to life than what we live these days. And I met a lady who introduced me to a machine that measures your frequency. And during that session with her, she said, "Oh, you should check out this author. Her name's Dolores Cannon." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" So I started to read Dolores Cannon's books, and then I became infatuated with her technique and everything. So I learned it. And I went and did an online course with her school. And now I'm a level two. Just been working with clients one-on-one. It's more or less just facilitated. I put clients under hypnosis, and they do all the healing themselves through the subconscious mind.
That is really cool. That I always love, especially like in the kind of the hypnosis. Could you go into a little bit of what makes her kind of like a process kind of unique or special, or what's been like the biggest thing that you've gained out of it, or your aha moment while you were learning the skill?
It was mainly because just to see how the mind can just heal you spiritually, emotionally, physically. Like I've watched people during her workshops come in with crutches, and because of all the love and energy in that workshop, that same person walks out without crutches. Another incident was a woman had pulmonary embolisms, and she worked with me. The subconscious rebuilt her lungs, and she walked, and she has no more issues with her lungs at all. Another client I had stage 4 cancer, and there's a process to it. You make them listen to a recording before they go to bed, because I record all my sessions. And in 4 weeks, she said her cancer was completely gone.
Wow, that is so powerful about the subconscious and the power of our mind. What do you think is the biggest, like, when it comes to the mind, especially for someone like myself who has ADHD, sometimes we feel like we're battling our mind. So what is like when trying to work with our subconscious and with our mind, what is like maybe a good tool or technique that you use to help wrangle in those especially for people with ADHD, they can get on those like kind of negative spiral loops in their head, and it becomes really hard to get them out of
Mm.
it. So for some of our ADHD listeners, would you, or even anyone that kind of struggles with that constant chatting in the head, was there any typical, would you have a strategy or something that you would teach your clients to handle that, or some way of kind of reframing it?
Absolutely. Like working with the coach I have now that I met through the podcast. He was a monk for 6 years, and he developed a mindset, and it's like breath work, and then you do all the inner work like journaling, just to kind of like, you're gonna have those voices in your head because that's your ego trying to fight your subconscious. And those voices in your head, that's just you trying to tell yourself that you're not good enough, but you are good enough. And the more you practice your breath work, and the more you align yourself, your subconscious, and your source energy, we all are energetic beings. I've learned that too. I did a past life regression, and turns out I was a German soldier who executed people. And the reason that I have the ability to do so many projects, I have a militant mindset, and the mindset followed me to this life. Now, during my childhood, I didn't have that same understanding because I didn't know about any of this. It wasn't until I lost my mother that I figured this all out, because we have to lose something in our life to start to understand spirituality. That's what I'm learning. That's how I became on my path. But for people who struggle with ADHD, it's not a struggle. It's a blessing because you are more tapped into your mind that you honestly don't understand because your mind is always communicating with you, and you can turn it so you can work with the mind and you can develop something beautiful. Most people I work with and most people that are part of this program have ADD because we are connected. We're already tapped into our source energy. So it's not, would you say, a fault having ADHD? It's a blessing because you can tap into so many energies, so many mindsets, and you don't even realize you're doing it.
Absolutely. That's the interesting thing because everyone always has this. There's always, especially in the ADHD space, of and like, is ADHD a superpower or a curse? And I actually think it can be what you choose it to be, right? Like every human being has been
Totally.
given a set of skills, a set of things, and it's how you apply that, right? And how you decide to use it, right? It's our
Mm-hmm.
perception on how we use it. I love that because that's what I try to get through to my clients as well. And the program I teach is the MAN method, which is maturity, assertiveness, nurturing, for kind of on with men understanding first themselves, right? And I something I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious about that I've always asked a lot of, especially to guys going on the spiritual path, how is the relationship with yourself in this journey over the last couple of years has transformed and evolved? Because I do definitely agree with you. It's this hero's journey, right? We have to go through trauma or a tragedy or something that happens that kind of awakens this kind of choice. And I find for me, it led to a development of self. So I'm curious on how, like, your, like, maybe inner talk before kind of all this, like, when you were a kid, and then after, of like kind of that transformation of like how you saw that you're, I don't think I'm expressing it correctly, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say.
Totally. Yeah, no, when I was a kid, I didn't really think about that because I was beaten and bullied every day. I didn't like going to school because a lot of teachers, there was only like two teachers that actually like cared about me. And the rest of them just kind of like let me do my own thing and just sabotaged me, just kept pushing me through and pushing me through. And it took a lot on my confidence and everything. So till about 2021, I didn't understand. I didn't understand like how to grow. I didn't understand any of that. But it took me one day. I was just meditating because I meditate a lot, and I just had a moment where I went back into time and I grabbed that younger version of myself and I held him and said, "It's okay. We're okay, and we'll get through this together. And you are loved no matter what. And I support you, and we'll get through this journey." And it brought a lot of clarity and understanding to forgiveness because I had another past life regression when I was journeying, because I don't call them dreams, I call them journeys. And the message behind it was you still have some anger, but forgiveness will always be there as a guidance.
That's I love that too because this is the thing I love about forgiveness, right? Because people like I think there's a big misconception about forgiveness, of like people think forgiveness is like I'm forgiving the other person. No, it's you letting go of that pain, you letting go of the thing. Like if you want to like what yeah, I think people really mix up amends and forgiveness because forgiveness is really the self, and amends is I'm changing my behaviors to fit, like I recognize that this behaviors need to change and this is how I'm changing my behaviors. Forgiveness is I'm letting go of the emotional release of like I will no longer be held captive by it, right? It's that capturing of your attention, your psyche, your energy. I don't know if you like this analogy. When I think of like kind of source energy, it's like we have a window, and as the muck gets on there, right? Meditation, journaling are things that can wipe off that muck. The more muck's on there, the less light is getting through to like let our light shine. And it's only in those like when we have to take that daily practice. So you mentioned journaling and your journeys. What are some other of your daily practices you do to keep up your kind of spiritual workout, so to speak? Yeah, like we have a boxing or a physical workout. What's your spiritual workout?
I do claims and mantras. I meditate. I try to meditate at least 3 times a day. I talk to myself. I do breath work. I coach myself because you got to coach yourself to get through this. And that's one of the things that my mentor and my coach as well that told me that everything that happens to us in our life is 100% our fault because we attract it. Whether you want to believe it or not, the negative responsibility or the negative consequences that have happened to us in our life, we attracted that. And from my understanding, from what I've learned, is because of what I've done in my past life, the reason I was bullied was because I chose it. We choose our parents too. And the life and the parent the home I was brought up in, it wasn't like a broken home, but there was a lot of drama, there was a lot of issues. And that was because I chose to be a part of that. I needed to suffer to understand what I had done in my previous life. And that's the thing that we don't understand is people think that we're one and done. We're not one and done. It's never ending. It's continuous. And
Well,
every time I go to sleep, I see another version of my life.
yeah, it's funny too because if you think about it, right? Matter itself, and anyone who's like, "Oh, this is all wooey." Think about just the basics of science here, right? Matter cannot be
Mm.
created nor destroyed; it only transforms states. So, if we kind of take that at the base level, I want to call myself Mr. Smart Guy, but all right, that I can understand. Then that means that everything is going to change and evolve. There's nothing ever really dies, which means you never really die. You're all really interconnected with everything else. It's learning how to tap into that and seeing all those different kind of aspects. And it's knowing how to I can't remember that there was that meme or the thing of I asked God for patience, so he gave me challenging people. He put challenging people in front of me so I could learn patience. I asked for this, and it's the funny things of the things that we ask for, even in our regular life. Oh, I really want this. You usually getting the opposite to teach you the skill set. So I would love to know what's your biggest tool that you in your toolbox that you use for daily life to handle kind of life's ups and downs.
I use the law of attraction. I follow the universal laws and I try to navigate myself around life and not because I believe in self healing and everything. So I do mantras and I just learned through the law of attraction that we can have whatever we desire or whatever is coming our way will drive us down another door or open another door or give us another path. I just follow synchronicities and I just go with the flow. I don't really do anything. I just let God take over and source energy and alignment and I just let it be.
That's lovely. And this is the thing I would love to get a little bit more clarity on because I know so many people, uh, like myself, I've struggled with this in the past. I know people struggle with this of getting to that point of the let go. So can you talk about that moment of where, because it's that being able to let go and let the universe, right? And to finally that point of relaxation of where it's that letting go and you're flowing with the universe. How did you get to that kind of stage? What was your kind of that moment like?
Just kind of doing research and just reading books about like Abraham Hicks, reading Dolores Cannon, reading Joe Dispenza, reading books, Vision Lakiani, like just different methods of meditation, different just understanding that there's more to life than this. There's more to life than go to a 9 to 5 job. There's more to life than living in fear, thinking whatever we think we create. So what I try to do is just not careful mind my thoughts, but I try to set up pathways that I go into a positive direction because we can create our own negative direction if we're not careful. And that's not our fault. It's part of our programming, right? Because I know people are so scared of AI, but if you want to know the truth, we're all AI and we're all just like programming our mind, and our minds have been programmed for so long. It's just unprogramming yourself, and it takes time. And the thing is, you got to want to do it. I can facilitate all these sessions for a person, but if they don't listen to the recording or they don't listen to their subconscious, that's definitely on them. And you can only, that's the whole idea of free will. And that's what I've learned about free will. You can tell people as much as you want, but you can't force someone to do anything. They have to want to do it themselves. And that's the thing is to get to where you want to be spiritually, you have to do the inner work first. If you don't do the inner work first, you're still going to have those toxic energies in you. And that was brought to my attention with one of my guests on my show who said, the reason that you're still having headaches and everything, because I'm an empath, I feel everything. So when I'm out in public, I feel people's energies. Like I can feel it. I can feel when someone's angry. I can feel when someone's sad. And then I go home and I have a headache. And then the lady said, "Well, you still have something toxic in you." So you're still gonna have like gaps where you're gonna have to learn and everything. It takes time. It's all part of the process though. And letting go is just surrendering to the divine and just letting the divine take over. And I know it's hard for people to just surrender, but you surrender already to your government, you surrender to your doctor, you surrender to your teachers. So how is it any different to surrender to the Almighty?
I love that. I love that because it's always that reframe of recognizing of people say, "Oh, I can't surrender to this or I can't do that." But like, but you can do that in all these other instances, right? If I just change the window dressing a little bit, you can do it. Like it's recognizing that a lot of the things that we're dealing with are just window dressing. And when you get down to the core of everything else, right? It's that core connection. And like you said too, this is one of my favorite kind of stoic principles is that you can't, the only thing you can control, I like to call it like the hula hoop. I have a hula hoop around me. Everything inside the hula hoop I can control. I have absolutely no control over everything outside of there. I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no control, like if, a saber-tooth tiger comes out of nowhere and bites, I have no control if you start flipping me off out of nowhere or be like, you're a weirdo. I have no control over that. Or like, I want to give you 500. Like, there's a lot of things I don't have control over. And it seems like to me, right, a lot of humans and I loved how you talked about unprogramming, right? I read a book in my 20s and I wish I remembered the book. It was all about unprogramming. And I wish this is a skill they taught in school was like, because we teach how to learn things of like, but we never teach people how to unlearn the program in the brain, right? And it's that unprogramming. And I can't just control alt delete the thing. I can't just be like, all right, let's delete that and put a new program in. I have to rewrite that program in every instance that it ever came up ever. And I expect it to be done in 3 weeks, but that's going to take probably 3 years if I've lived 33 or 40 years, right? It's so, but you can get there
Totally.
faster, obviously, but it's that understanding that reprogramming. What has been your biggest kind of reprogram that, like, maybe in self-image or everything else, that you've like experienced?
Just letting go of fear and anger. I was so angry for a long time, and just letting go of the fear aspect of like knowing I'm never gonna die and that my soul lives forever and that the divine takes care of me, whether it gives me a challenge or not. It's like a video game, right? We all get challenges in life, and it's whether or not we want to face it. And they have no problem telling you because they'll hit you right in the back of the head. You'll think you're having a headache, but it's really them telling you, like, start to listen. Listen to your body. Your body's always communicating. And that was the thing with me is I never listened to my body. I was putting poison into my body. I wasn't eating the right foods. And then once I went to that machine and I got hooked up and measured my frequency, it said your body wants all these things. So I changed myself and I changed my identity. And a lot of people struggle with the new me now, and that's the part of the spiritual journey is at one point you're going to feel like you're alone, but you're truly not because you have source energy and there are so many other like-minded individuals like yourself out there that you don't have to worry. You will come across them like, and that's the beautiful thing about a podcast is you get to communicate with so many like-minded individuals. And at the end of the call, I'm always having a chat with them afterwards, and they're always giving me pointers or tools. We're all here to help each other. And that's the process that nobody understands because we went to a school who makes it so you're just a worker. You have no social skills whatsoever. You just have working skills. You have the basics. That's it. And then you're sent out to the world to like survive. Yet you can survive on making whatever. That's fine. But it's not there because you had no mental stability growing up because there was no psychology. There was none of that. You had to go to university to learn all that. Whereas you
Or it
go
was
to a,
or was the parents or the community, or maybe it was your church
yeah,
community, or it was not a thing that like basically government was like, okay, we need to train for society. So what does society need when, especially modern education in like Western society, was industrial evolution. Okay, we need to train people how to work on a factory line. So we basically trained from, I think, I like to feel like I'm, 1930s, 1940s, during that time, all the way up until basically the 1990s, 2000 when you get into the information age, even now, but it's still kind of taught in the same exact kind of way. I think it's only because of YouTube and the internet has the way information is disseminated, the way we learn, even though the school system is still there, but the opportunity to learn more, information isn't gatekept anymore, and which is such a powerful thing. When information is out there and we have access to it, we can learn so much about ourselves and understanding the soft skills, right? The things that actually matter in life. Being more productive doesn't matter as much of like, did I actually make a friend? Did I make a connection? Do I have a memory to share? What's the lesson? What's the value? Um, and I love to talk about kind of our spiritual values. So, what would you say? So, like, my top three spiritual values are maturity, assertiveness, and nurturing. It leads into my man method because I love to do everything in like abbreviation things. But what are maybe your top five spiritual principles or five spiritual kind of values that you believe in?
I just believe in treating people like an equal because we're all equal, right? We're all energy. And like myself, from my past life, it followed me to this life. And I like both men and women. And I'm not ashamed to say it. But at the same time, I'm not going to be joining a community because I'm different, because I'm not different. We're all the same. So my principle is just one thing. We are all equal. And I'm one with source energy. And my values and principles are mainly just show love, compassion, treat others as an equal, and just have fun. Enjoy life. Manipulate this energy, this beautiful inheritance that the divine has left us, and go out and make something beautiful and share it with the world.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that is beautiful. That I feel like I'm probably gonna clip out there. I feel like that's a good TikTok clip right there. But because you were talking about having fun, so I would love to know what do you do for fun? Kind of what are your top three favorite fun activities you like to do?
I love reading. Like I'm an avid reader and I love Abraham Hicks and I love to spend time with my fiance. We have like game night, we have date nights. In the summertime, I love to go golfing and paddleboarding because my element is water. So when I'm on the water, there's nothing but peace there. So I love that. And I love traveling. We're getting married in Grenada in April and we were in Mexico and I might be going to India. I'm waiting to hear if I want a raffle or not. So like, yeah, just enjoying life. I'm just kind of I stay home and I do my thing and then I communicate with people whenever I have the chance. But I just enjoy chilling home, relaxing, especially right now with how cold it is, and just sitting by with a fireplace and reading a good book or just having something good. I love to cook too, so that's another fun thing I enjoy too, and is cooking. And I've learned so much about like what our bodies need and like how we're like more alkaline the better, and just research. I love research, and that's probably one of my favorite things to do is just never end, just keep compiling more knowledge and wisdom and just getting to know more people. And then the podcast, like I do a podcast too, and the podcast takes quite a bit of time, so I enjoy
Right
that as
on.
well.
And we'll definitely make sure to check out his podcast links and all and follow Drew and all the social media and all that fun stuff as well. Because I was a former chef and I didn't know that you love cooking, so this is a very common question. It's a two-parter. What's your favorite thing to eat? But also, what's your favorite thing to cook?
Oh, I like cooking soups. Like soups are my favorite thing to cook because it's just so warm and just you feel so like a blanket wrapped around you. And then in the summertime, I love healthy French toast. I don't use like syrup. What I do, what my fiance taught me, so I cut up a bunch of apples and my neighbor gives me their honey that they make because all the stuff I eat is natural and organic because I can't eat anything else because my body rejects it. So that's another neat thing that you learn about your body is when you start to get like heartburn and all that stuff that your body telling you, nope, don't want that. Get that out of there. So yeah, healthy French toast is probably one of my favorites.
Nice. You can't go wrong with a nice, healthy piece of French toast as well. And it's hard to get healthy with anything with the word French in it because most French food is all just butter,
Yeah.
dairy. No, right on. I had one last, where can people check out your podcast at?
You can check it out at Buzzsprout. I'm on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. I also have a YouTube channel, Beyond Transcendence with Andrew. And my website right now is under construction, but it should be up and running in the next few days. It's www.andrewfwilson.com. And that's where my quantum healing and my blogs and my podcasts are also at too.
Awesome. Do you want to talk a bit about your coaching and your healing practice and what you offer and any kind of along that kind of stuff? Feel free to. I want you to promote yourself to my audience because I know I get a lot of North American people as well as Europeans, and that could definitely use services like yours. So feel free to give a little description and what you offer.
Totally. So with the quantum healing, healing hypnosis technique, we have a 2 hour interview and I get to know you, and then you're casting characters, and then we do a 2 hour induction where you're in the somnambulistic state, where we either your subconscious will dive you into a past life, deal with your present life, or maybe an intergalactic life, right? Because we're still understanding that part too about being not from this planet and how this. What I've learned about this planet from my QHHT is this is a school, and we went to school, but this is an actual school, and we are. The cool thing about what I'm learning is we're a part of history. All of us, every last one of us, has done some form of history, and that's the cool part about it. And with the coaching, it's mainly just telling people to get them connected with their higher selves and to build a happy life, one that they can be proud of, and not struggling with any sort of discomfort or illness or disease that we create. And it's just, yeah, working one-on-one with people. Before I was like the biggest person about like not communicating with people, and now every day, like if I do something kind, then I'll write it in my journal. I was kind of that person before, to be like, oh, I know I judge this person. Now I don't judge anybody because I have to judge myself, because the one thing I've learned and the beautiful thing about spirituality is everyone, yourself, Dave, has a part of me and you have a part of you in me, because we're all connected.
Oh, I love that. We are. And remembering that connection, right? And remembering that, like, so much of like kind of the guy's idea with too is just have that sense of loneliness. And it's just, I'm like, dude, man, you're not alone. What you're going through, and anyone listening to whatever you're going through in life, just think about this. There are how many billions of people on this planet, how many people, billions of people that have lived before you. Someone has gone through an experience like you've gone through and survived. So if they can do it, you can do it. Drew, thank you so much. I learned so much. I learned definitely might hit you up on that quantum healing because I definitely will always want to learn more about that kind of thing and something to understand about my own kind of past lives. And there's some more healing that I need to do as well, right? Because the journey is a never-ending one, and it's been great connecting with you. Thank you so much. Guys, don't forget to check out Drew, and I'll make sure to leave all the links for his podcast below and check out his coaching as well. Thank you so much, Drew, for being here. And I'm going to let you go with the final word. What's one last message if that you want to give out to our viewers?
It's okay not to be okay. And your time is coming where, whether you want to accept it or not, where you're going to have to do the internal work. And when you do the internal work, don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Remember, fear is an illusion. Pain is an illusion that you created. And you are a beautiful, wonderful soul. And don't let those voices, those ego voices in your head tell you differently, because you are beautiful. And you will do something wonderful for yourself and those around you, because we are all connected by the divine. So I wish you nothing but love and compassion to each and every one of you listen to this podcast. And reach out if you want to talk, or reach out to Dave. We are always here to listen.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. And thank you guys. And everybody, have a great, if not better, day.